Yo, so Rise of the Conqueror. Right, it's slightly known as different things in certain places, right? I think stateside it is Rise of the Last Conqueror. In other parts of the world, it's Tamerlane, right? Or Tamerlane, Rise of the Last Conqueror. But whatever it is, it's the new historical joint, right, which is directed by Jacob Schwarz. He co-wrote the film with Matthew Greene and Christian Mortensen. It is produced by Matthew Simmers, co-produced by Christian Mortensen and William Kappenhut. Executive produced by Bekruz Hamzes. And Catherine Kraposwaltz. It has line production also from William Kappenhut, right? And Azam Abdulev. We've got Jonathan Keith on the score, Ty Arnold and Peter Meisman on cinematography, right? Evan Michael Carpenter edits the piece. We have casting by Yvonne Loyal. All right, so handling art direction is Jamaluddin Rabshavnov. Right, hair and makeup, we've got Botagaz Abadieva, Lydia Odunskaya, and Kanut Roshan. Okay, now coordinating all the stunts that we see, we had Zudabek Kungezhinov. Oh boy, I feel I've done a horrible job with the pronunciation, so apologies, people. Now, our film, right, it stars Christian Mortensen. He didn't just write, he didn't just co-produce, he also stars in the film as Timur Barlas, right? His wife, Alajai, is played by Yıldız Rajbova. Her brother, right, Husan, is played by Mahesh Jadoo. Okay, and their dad, Amir Quazajan, right, is where is Amir? Boy, everything is all over the place a little bit. Dum, 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 dum. Boy. I have lost it. I had it, right? I do come prepared, people. I had all of this information, and now I cannot find the mother's name. Anyway, oh boy, that is weird. Okay, he's not there. I mean, we don't really see him, so whatever. Okay, so all right. Husan's wife, Sari, is played by Dulgun Udahu. Right? We have got Ilyas, right? The son of Tughlaq Khan, is played by Joshua Joe. Okay, who should we go to Next. All right, so Tughlaq Khan himself was played by Maruf Utajanov, right? Tamir's uncle, Haji, is played by Asan Mazhit. There is Elchi, played by Makhest Sabitov. Iskandar, played by Zandos Abisov. We've got Baraka, played by Umit Ulgen. There's who else do we have? Sanjay Maddy plays Jessur. And Arazu is Banu, right? They both are merchant and bandit leaders on the Silk Road. We have James, a Scottish mercenary, played by Paul Marlon. There is Abu Shihab, right, played by Aziz Baishaniliv. Bikajuk, played by Yerkabulun Dairyov. I think that's our main lot of people, right? And I can't butcher anything else. So the gist of the story: as the Mongol Empire crumbles, a battle-scarred Timur Barlas must confront a haunting destiny and renounce his loyalties to protect the fate of the Silk Road. Now, man, I think it was all the way back 200 and something, right, that we looked at. The last historical thing that I remember really enjoying was on this kind of scale was Medieval, right? That was directed by Peter Bock, I believe. No, sorry, Peter Jackal directed it and co-wrote it with Peter Bock, and we spoke to them about the film. Great conversation, people. Go check it out. That was Medieval. And this is a similar kind of thing, I feel, right? Because with Medieval, we looked at a story we don't really hear about. And this is the same, right? A lot of things around the Mongol Empire are Genghis Khan, right? Or maybe his direct children, right? Like, Marco Polo, right, on Netflix. That was with Kublai Khan, I believe. It's been a minute since I watched that, but I enjoyed that. But yeah, we get those stories. So it's interesting to look at this, because this is, I think they said, what, 100 or so years after Genghis Khan, right? And it's different, right? It's understanding that, there was still, an empire after Genghis. There was still a thing, right? It did go on for a good while, right? I think we forget about these things because we're not taught them, right? I imagine in some parts of the world, right, this is taught, but, I imagine in a lot of the Western, it's not, which is a shame. This history is such a rich tapestry of interesting stories and knowledge, right? And with this story, it's obviously it's following the beats of other things that we have seen, but that's what history does, It's not a large studio joint, right? This is an indie, but it looks pretty spectacular, right? It looks pretty good. There are small things where you're like, but for the most part, this looks great, right? The armor and all of those kind of things look legit. The swords look weighty and things. Like sometimes you watch it and you're just like, yeah, that sword does not look like it could cut through anything. I think, was it Deathstalker from a few weeks back, right? And the three-bladed sword was just crazy. But this one, yeah, it really seemed they looked at these details, like the chess pieces, and they made the chess pieces look worn, right? Which I thought was good. There's one point when, oh God, who was it now? I think it was Sari handed Timur his sword, and you see all of these notches in the blade, right? Now, that might seem, pretty insignificant, but for a warrior who's been in all of these fights, right? Your sword isn't going to be perfect. It's going to be worn. Now, in an ideal world, you're going to try and use a whetstone and, get a lot of those dinks out, but time permitting, right? When you're fighting for your life, trying to survive is, not an easy thing. But it's just that level of detail that helps a story like this sing, And we've got actors that look like they're from the region, which is always a big thing. Because, there's often times that, people try and make historical shit. And you're like, I don't think any of those people would have been around at that time. So, these things are good. Right? For me, I enjoyed this more than something like Gladiator 2. Like, it starts off with an incident, let's say. And, it showcased some fighting, it showcased, a few different things. But also, right, we have got Tamir's wife, Aljal, right? She fights. And I thought, that's good, right? It showed that women were warriors in that time, right? A lot of, not everyone, but a lot of women did know how to throw down, right? They were handy with a blade, and especially within like the Mongol, Empire, and a lot of nomadic empires as well, right? Everyone had to be useful. So I thought it's a good opening, and it also showcased, you cannot take anyone for granted in this. You know what I mean? And there were different scenes, like there was a red wedding-esque moment. And I think the effects they utilized to demonstrate something were, I think that was done pretty well. You know what I mean? So yeah, we get this story. There's a lot of twists and turns, right? Loyalty is, it's one of them things, right? Where it can be debatable, for some people, and we saw that. Right? I thought the fight scenes were done pretty well. Right? I was watching something the other, I forget what it was, but I think it was I checked out an episode of season 2 of One Piece, and I was watching and I'm thinking, it's clear that kick did not land, right? But on this, I'll say I thought the fight choreography was good. It was pretty stand up, man. I think, you're watching it and it does look like hits land, right? It's not a case of watching that was pulled, right? That sword didn't actually do that, or no. This it's worked, right? You can see that everyone involved poured a lot of heart, a lot of soul into this, right? They made sure that the little things, that these fights, that these interactions work, right? Which holds your interest, that keeps you in the film. There are some things, obviously, that are a little bit, you know, like Timur's beard never really changes. And you just think, okay, there's moments where it's like, oh, he was in bed for days, right? He was, you know what I mean, writing for this thing, but you're just like, there's no growth, right? There's no change. And you just imagine, right? Like, you're not stopping every moment to groom yourself. You know what I mean? So, like, there's things like that, but it's just kind of like, okay, look, you were on point with a lot of the other things, so I'll let that pass, right? It's not too crazy a thing that you're just like, I can't watch this, man. Beard's not hair, beard, like no one's hair's growing. What's going on? You know, you could let those things slide. And some of the dialogue you can say, I mean, that's all very convenient, right? Like this perfect moment with this perfect thing said, right? Obviously, it's all for effect. But on the whole, I thought this was well done. Now, I don't know this period of time. So I don't know what they've changed. Because here's the thing. Whenever you get a historical drama, right, a historical retelling, there's always things that get changed, right? Timelines get streamlined a little bit more, right? Sometimes they'll merge several characters into one because, there's constraints, right? So there's certain things that, I don't know if it went down exactly like this, if it ended exactly, because, something like California Scheming, they completely changed how that whole situation changed, like how it played out, right? Didn't go how you saw it in the movie, which is kind of crazy, right? But we know that stuff happens. But with this, I don't know what may have been changed, what is inaccurate, all of those things. All I can tell you, as a film, right, as a piece of historical drama, this worked, right? This was good. This was enjoyable. It kept my interest throughout, So it's literally just under 2 hours, right? It's 119 minutes. But yeah, I was kept enthralled. I was kept watching. And that's a great sign, people. That's a great sign, right? I definitely enjoyed this a lot more than some of the things that we looked at this week. And some of the things we looked at in the last few weeks. So big thanks to Izzy at Signature for sending it across. So yeah, people, I definitely recommend, because it's just about to hit streaming, right? Just about to hit streaming on all your favorite platforms. It's dropping on the 4th of May, right? Monday, I believe. So yeah, I would highly recommend checking it out. If you like things like Gladiator, right? If you enjoyed Medieval, definitely check out Rise of the Conqueror, right? AKA Tamerlane, Rise of the Conqueror, or Tamerlane, Rise of the Last Conqueror. However it is, people, I say check it out. I don't think you're going to be disappointed.